What's going on, guys? Well, I'm in the shop and I'm doing some work on these rocking chairs, and I thought that I would just share a little bit about process for me. And with anything, if you do it long enough, process always changes, whether it be upgrading machinery or using different types of hand tools. It's a combination of all of it. So in a lot of the videos that I did before, whether it be the television show or the Wicked Smart videos, when it came to making these tenons at the right height off the arm that I wanted, I would use a hand plane all the time. And it's just a lot of work. And right now I'm making 6 chairs. And so that's like what, 20 of these things I got to do, right? And I just needed to find a faster way of doing it. And I'm not like, I've never been like a big fan of routers, but I've started to use routers doing this and it's starting to work out for me. But there are risks involved, so when it comes to going around the outside edge of the tenon, what I do is I'm going to climb cut just around the edge so I don't, peel back all these, the edges and turn into crumbs, right? And you can see I have 2 pieces of plywood right here. Well, they're rippings, right? They're just about 1/8 of an inch because I just needed to make sure I could ride on something to flush cut it. So you can see the height off the arm right here. Let's see. That's too high for me just the way that it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my router and I'm just going to flush cut that. And the way that's going to work is, see, it's just going to sit on there just a little bit and I'm just going to be able to trim it out, right? Yeah, you can see that I have the bit down just a little, right? And I need to put 2 of these pieces on there, so the base of the router is going to be a little bit higher than the actual tenon. It is wicked risky. That's the thing, risk and reward around here, right? Yeah, you see what I just did right there? It's a little out of focus, but what are you going to do? But you can see that's going to be the height that I want to use. Now, the next thing that I need to concern myself with is the path of the router bit, because it is going to leave like marks on the top of this thing. So what I've decided to do and what I've learned from doing this is that I'm just going to go in the direction of the grain the best that I can to eliminate as much of that, like that tearout or whatever you want to call it. Now that I have the height of this where I want it, the top of this is still a little bumpy from the router, right? So what I like to do is I just like to put my rippings or like these little shims up against what I'm doing, right? My hand's gonna be in the way, but I'm just gonna, I'll show you in a second. Now you can start to see right here that that's where the router went. So this is a little fuzzy and I want to try to get this surface to look smooth like that right there. I just hate looking at ingrain and seeing mill marks. It's just a matter of me making sure that this card scraper is sharp and I don't bust out the edges, and I just take my time until this is where I want it. Once I have that as close as I think I can get it, I'm just going to pick up some 220 sandpaper. I'm going to sand it out. Now you notice that I'm on one side of this thing and I'm sanding into my shim because I don't want to round over any of this material. I'll come to the other side. All right. That's really pretty good. Now you can see the surface of that. It looks really clean and you probably can't see them, but there are 2 wedges in there as well. I'll scroll down to this one. So let me see if I can get to this one right there. So this is what it looks like before I attack it. See, I have a wedge here and a wedge right there. I try to line the grain up so it's going to be hidden, but a lot of times, you know, the wood is what the wood is, and it's the way it goes. So the last thing I need to do with this is give it some shape. So I'm going to take some tape. I'm going to put on either side of this thing. I'm going to grab my shoulder plane. I have this small Lee Nielsen right here that I absolutely love. When it comes to using a shoulder plane, you got to be careful, especially when you're doing this stuff, because you don't want the corner of the blade to dig into the surface of the arm. And that's basically why I have this piece of tape there, is because when I start to go across, it's gonna engage with the tape before it's gonna hit the piece of wood, and it gives me a half a chance to adjust my blade before I dig into the arm. And if you can, it's helpful to go in the direction of the grain. And I just eyeball it at this point. Ideally, when I put these wedges in, I try to put them in at the edge of where I know this chamfer is going to be, so they're basically hidden. But I'm not always perfect. But I get pretty close. But that ain't bad. I'm just going to come the other way. I'm going against the grain this way, but it's going to be okay. The trick is not to push down on it too hard. And this material is honey locust, so it's hard as a rock, and I'm not overly concerned about going in the other direction. Now this one here, I'm going to be on this side of it, so I just need to adjust my blade so I don't dig into the edge. And to be honest with you, a lot of that is my problem. I just forget what I'm doing sometimes, and I make mistakes. So it's all about paying attention. All right, now let's check out the result. You can see that the top is nice and flat and clean. You can really see the grain direction, and you can see the wedges barely, right? I did a pretty good job with this one. You can barely see it. But overall, it looks pretty good. Now, I will make a couple little changes. I will adjust my shoulder plane to get this closer to the bottom over here. But overall, I'm really pleased with it, and it's barely off the surface. You see that? So when when everybody strokes it with their fingers, when they're sitting here, it's pleasing. So yeah, that's what it takes to make all of these through mortise wedge tenons look as good as they do. It's really not easy, but if you just take your time and you're methodical and you really think about what you're doing and you don't rush anything, you're going to be really surprised on what you're going to be able to achieve. I really love that detail. I hope you learned a little bit, and thanks for watching. See ya.